Hello, and welcome to episode number 17 of the Holistic Lifestyle Guide podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about one of my favorite things in the whole world, and that is journals and planners. There are so many mental and emotional benefits to using these. So, this is something that I talk about quite often, as you might have noticed. If you are a regular listener, or especially if you've been a regular reader of my blog, which I've had for over a year now, I talk about journals and planners a lot, and I have an Etsy shop where I sell them, and I just can't say enough good things about them. I've always been drawn to journals and planners and checklists and workbooks and things like that because they are so good to give yourself um, personal development. They're so good to learn about yourself. They're good to organize your life. They are good to, oh, there's so many benefits. I could just go on forever. They are also really fun to create and use because creating them that's what I do for, that's what my Etsy shop is. And almost everything that I create comes from a need that I have for it. So I use them myself as well as I make them for other people. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the benefits of journals and planners, especially the mental benefits. There's other ones as well. And this is a subject I love to talk about, just journaling by itself. That's got so many benefits for everybody knows that's good for your mind. It's also good for your soul. And what I learned recently when I took a class on journaling, that it has physical benefits as well. You would have never guessed, but writing in a journal will lower your blood pressure, lowers your stress. It gives you a better outlook on life, especially if you're doing gratitude journaling. It helps you learn about yourself and so many things. So I'm going to cover some of those in this episode here. So if you are interested in holistic health, which you probably are if you're listening to this episode, you know the importance of mental health. And I like to tell people that if you do any one thing for your mental health, let it be journaling. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about journals and planners. They kind of go together, I think, because, they do serve different purposes, but they both involve the act of writing something down on paper, a physical act of writing. And so what that does is it gets it out of your head and into the physical world. You're literally creating when you write. So this is therapeutic in so many ways. So we're going to talk about how clutter causes stress and anxiety. And this is how journals and planners can help you with this, especially planners. One of the biggest causes of stress and anxiety is a cluttered mind. So a cluttered mind will lead to stress and anxiety and analysis paralysis, procrastination, feelings of overwhelm, and just a general lack of inner peace. A cluttered mind leads to a cluttered environment. You might have seen people that they're hoarders and you know that their mind isn't right. You just know it. So the same way is that a clutter-free environment leads to a clutter-free mind. This is why minimalists are generally happier than hoarders and pack rats and people that are addicted to shopping. You can just feel the difference in your mood when you walk into a cluttered, messy space as opposed to a simple, uncluttered space. If you were going to therapy or a healing session of any kind, would you rather be in a room with maybe one table and a few plants and minimal furniture? Or would you rather go into a room that looks like somebody's storage closet? So you can see that there's the difference there in your environment and how it makes you feel. And this is how journals and planners can help. They can bring great improvement into your life in any way that you need. Anyone can relate to the feeling of being overwhelmed, whether it's by physical junk laying around or mental junk floating in your mind. I'm sure you've gone to bed after a crazy day and laid awake for hours trying to process the day, or you've gone over your to-do list in your head hoping that you could remember everything the next day. That's not the way to do it. So journals in particular, they're even more therapeutic. They help you process your emotions in a healthy way. So journaling right before bed, it's the best way to end your day and get yourself ready for sleep. So they have a double whammy benefit for your mental and emotional health. And that is why I recommend people always start a journaling practice when you are trying to improve your mental health. I am such a strong proponent of journaling and planners that I just I can't talk about them enough. So if you do any one thing to improve your health, make it be the act of writing in a journal or a planner. It's the perfect first step to transforming your life into a more positive, healthy one. Like I said, there are journals and planners for every need. Um, they even have digital ones now. You can buy digital planners if you prefer to keep things digitally. That's good for saving space and saving paper. But they have proven that it is actually better for you, the act of writing physically. So if you like that, then you can buy printable ones, which is what I sell, and you can print them off and put them in binders, clipboards, and folders. Using binders is my favorite method. I use binders for everything. I must have 20 of them. You can have a binder for everything. Like I said, there's a journal and a planner for every need. And I actually have a journaling course that goes deeper into this. There's so many different types of journaling. Like there's gratitude journaling, there's um, journaling for every hobby that you can think of. So if you're really interested in learning more about the basics about journaling and how you can use it to improve your life in any way that you can think of, then I'll leave a link down in the show notes for my journaling course. So that's a whole separate subject, though. I kind of went off on a tangent there. So I'm going to continue talking about how I use planners and journals. Like I said, you usually can put them in a binder. That's the preferred method. And when you buy them on Etsy, like the ones that I have, they're very inexpensive. And that's one of the benefits, that they are easy, inexpensive. You can put them in a binder in any way that you want. Like you can organize them, the pages, and you can even print off more of one page if you want. You can skip a page if you want and not print that one. That's the magic of printers. You can really make it your own. You can mix and match them. So you can buy different planners and journals that are for different purposes and put them all together into one binder. And that's kind of like what a life binder will be called. So you can put anything in there for your health, of course, which is what I specialize in. But you can also put in planner pages that are, for to-do lists, which I make them as well. And you can also have budget planners to budget your money. There are education planners. So if you're a student going to college, or if you're even an adult taking courses online, those come in handy too. But the majority of what I make are for the body, mind, and the soul. So if you have any need at all for improving your physical health, your mental health, or your spiritual health, there are planners and journals for whatever you can imagine. I make pretty much most of them that I have thought of so far. I'm kind of covering all the areas. I've got planners and journals for how to eat better, how to manage your mental health, how to do self-care. I've got a planner on Ayurveda, which is a system of health that is in alignment with nature, which is perfect for my message. Is all about holistic health. I actually just did a podcast episode about that last week, so check that out if you're really interested in Ayurveda, learning a little more about that. So I also sell some planners and journals for symptoms. So let's say you're trying to check your symptoms, you need a piece of paper to write stuff down. So I have some like that. I've got manifestation journals. I've got a couple different planners to create a morning and evening routine, and so many more. I've got like almost 100 of them now at the time of this recording. So whatever you can think of, literally almost anything that you can think of, if you're trying to improve your health in any way, there is a planner and a journal for that. And that is why I think it's such a good match for Holistic Lifestyle Guide as a business, because that's the whole entire goal, is to improve your health in all ways. And I just happen to love making printable planners and journals and stuff, and checklists. So research has actually proven that when you use things like this, when you use planners, when you use checklists, you are actually a way better chance of succeeding than if you hadn't been using them. So if you have a goal, if you've got um, desires you want to manifest, however you want to word that, if you use a planner and a journal and checklists to accomplish that goal, you will have a way better chance of succeeding. That's actually been proven. So that's why I like to tell people, if you listen to information, if you read a book, if you watch videos, sure, you're going to know the information, but it's not going to make a change in your life unless unless you implement it, unless you apply it. And that's what these products do. These products bridge the gap between knowing the information and using the information. That's why they're so crucial. And that's why I like to talk about them so much, because a lot of people don't really know that there is such a thing as printable workbooks or printable planners, printable journals. You can get these instantly, and they're very inexpensive. They're usually under $10. You can download them to your computer right away, print them off, and you can print them as many times as you want. You can print some for your friends, for your family. If you know anybody that's got a problem with any particular thing, find a planner or a journal for that, print it off, stick it in a binder for them, and then that'd be an amazing gift. And of course, they're good for you too, and they're good for anybody. I can't think of a single person that wouldn't benefit from using these. Of course, there are people that don't like to write. Like, there's a lot of guys out there that, they're not into writing and stuff. It's usually a girl thing, but there's a growing audience of men out there. A lot of my audience is men, actually. So kudos to you if you can embrace your expressive side and your planner side. And that kind of brings me to the subject of planning, as a lot of people think that planning takes the fun out of it. Like, it takes the routine out of or it adds the routine to your life, and it takes the spontaneity out. I actually wrote a blog post about that, where you can actually plan your life without it taking over, your spontaneity. If you really like being spontaneous, you can do this. You can do routines. Daily routines is one of the major reasons why people plan. So if you're going to buy a planner to create a daily routine, it's really just a morning and a nighttime routine. It's not so much an entire day routine, because obviously people go to work in the middle of the day. They don't just sit around all day and do routines. So it's really just the beginning and the end of the day that you want these routines. And so that's another one of the many benefits of journals and planners, that they help you to establish a routine that is a foundation of your life. And that brings me back to living a holistic lifestyle in general. To be the healthiest version of yourself, you kind of need to have a foundation. You need to have a routine of these daily healthy habits. And that is the goal of all of these planners and journals, is to give you a way to make these habits solid, because you can't just do things randomly and expect them to benefit. You can't really build a lifestyle around anything unless it is a habit first. And that's the goal of printables, planners, and journals. Especially the checklists. The checklists especially are really good for making sure that you do all of the things that you want to do in a day, all of the things that are healthy habits you want to start. Oh, I could go on. This episode really could be a couple of hours long if I really wanted to go into detail about each one of these. So there's a lot of different benefits of each one, of course. Like, journals and planners are different in that journals are mostly about expressing yourself, and that's very important for your mental health. And then planners are good for building a foundation, building a lifestyle of habits, or getting goals done. So habits, goals, and expression, those are really the three key elements of of these products that I make. So I think I'm going to just end this episode now because I feel like I could just talk about this forever, and I would really just be repeating myself because I just love them so much, and I there's only so many ways that I can say how good they are. You just have to experience them for yourself. So I'm going to have a link down in the show notes for the blog post originally where I wrote this from, and then also the link to my Etsy shop where I sell the printable planners and journals and stuff like that. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope to have you on board for the next episode.